does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Here, YouTube, I'm back again for another Game Crafter Spotlight, where I take a look at a different Game Crafter game every month and do a series of videos on it. And this month, we're going to be checking out StoneFire from Grey Gnome Games as part of the library series for 1 to 4 players, ages 12 plus, taking about 30 minutes to play. And this is going to be a deep unboxing where I'm going to show you all the different components, and I'm going to tell you how they do and what they work gameplay-wise. So I think we should start off with this, actually, right here. This is your handy-dandy rule booklet. It's probably about, 20-page, double-sided, full color. It's got a couple pictures, illustrations. It should have you up and running pretty smoothly. Also, want to give a huge shout-out to the playmat here, which they were nice enough to send when they did this. It is functional. As you can see, it has all the different spots lined up, so you can put your cards on there. And it is overall useful. If I played this again, I would definitely use it in the future. The next thing you need to know is there's 2 start players things. Why? Because they wanted you to be able to choose between these 2 cool dinosaurs. So you pick one, and then you have the start player. Everybody gets one of these player reference cards right here, which are single-sided, which I always think is a disappointment, especially in this game where there are some things that I would recommend putting on there, especially the symbology, because there is symbology on the cards, like that bow and arrow right there, but it's neither here nor there, but it goes over the basic turn sequence. So first you're going to go hunting, you're going to build a hunting party and choose a foe from the wilderness to either attack or tame or attack a location, which brings us to our tribal deck. This is going to be a huge chunk of cards in the game, and pretty much you're going to see green, blue, orange, brown, and red. Those are the 5 different suits in the game, and each of them has their own kind of unique quirk. Like these ones are good at getting off rage tokens, because as you see, there's going to be a bunch of dinosaurs, and the more rage tokens you have on top of the dinosaurs, the angrier they are and the harder they are to fight, and the amount of fight you're bringing is this number in the upper left-hand corner. So this Huntress is a very good card. And in fact, you can also see that there's these little dots down here, that green, yellow, orange, and red. This is really nice. This shows you how rare the card is. So this is a very common card, which explains why it's a 1, whereas this is a 2. It goes all the way to the top. And as you can see, there's also some special abilities that are going to come into play. And there are a lot of repeats in here, but overall, there's a decent chunk of special abilities, and there's also some symbology that you're going to need to know. But essentially, you're going to have a hand of these cards, and you're going to be picking cards to go on the hunt, to go hunt dinosaurs most of the time. So we talked about those cards right now. Let's go to the next phase of the player reference card right here, which is search. Instead of hunting, you may draw 1 egg card. So if you don't have a high enough number to go hunting for a dinosaur, because actually, let's talk about the dinosaurs now. It's kind of perfect. We have this deck right here, the Wilderness deck, where you're going to go hunting for dinosaurs. You might also go on quests, and these are a whole different separate thing. When you draw these, you're going to be playing cards out of your hand onto here to try and get that number right there, and then you'll earn victory points, and you'll see victory points for the first time, really, at the bottom right-hand corner here. You'll also notice that there's an egg symbol right there that will pop up from time to time. When that happens, you're going to draw an egg. We'll talk more about that later. But most of these, though, are going to be dinosaurs, and a lot of them will have their own special abilities. So when they pop up, you're just going to read the text on the card. So let's just say I had a group, a tribe, of people, and they have to be different colors, but that's in the rules. We're not talking about the rules. We're talking about the components. I would need to get up to at least a 3. Now, this guy has had 3 rage tokens, this card, which means it would actually be a 6. But if you happen to bring someone along the way who gets rid of your rage tokens, then you could easily get this, and then it would be worth 4 victory points at the end of the game. So you put this face down, and bada boom, you got 4 victory points for later on. Cool, right? But there's also another thing. Some of these in here will have 2 numbers. So this Triceratops, you could kill it for 6. Yeah, and then you'd score 3 victory points, and that's great. Or you could try and tame it, which is the small number in the top left-hand corner. And then this actually goes into your village. And this is one of the things we'll talk a little bit about later on one of the actions. But think skip bow. You know how in skip bow you have a bunch of cards in front of you, and you can use those whenever you want to? You can kind of do that in this game. You can put cards down in front of you and use them for later on in order to hopefully get some of the bigger dinosaurs right here. And the biggest dinosaur is the allosaurus, which will be the last dinosaur you fight, but it has a 9 on it. I don't know where it went. Oh, yeah, it's right here. Allosaurus. And so, yeah, those are going to be the Wilderness deck. These are what you're going to hunt. This is where you're going exploring. This is your tribal deck. These are the people that are going to go out and do the fighting. Also, you will have creatures. The brown cards are always going to be creatures like dire wolves and mammoths and saber cats. And in fact, there's some cool ways that there's some cool things that happen in here where essentially if you have certain characters, some of those can be more powerful. Now, we got a couple more components to talk about. First, we have these 4 tribal deck cards right here. These are just asymmetrical special abilities that you will have. You'll essentially get one of these randomly at the beginning of the game, and then if you spend an egg on your turn, you'll be able to use the special ability, and there's 2 special abilities to pick down there. So each of them has their own special color they're good with, so you may play an additional orange card this turn, you may play an additional blue card this turn, pink card, but then on the bottom they have their own different special abilities. So you may add +1 to all companions in this battle, which means once again the brown ones, those are the companions. So that's super useful. You may add range to this attack and return 1 card to your village. Returning cards to your village means once again putting them back into your skip bow area. Super duper useful. So 4 different race cards there. We got a couple more components left. We'll get this one out of the way right now. So Jason Glover and co, because I think this one is co-designed, also made, well, I know Jason did, I don't know about everybody else, made Iron Helm and Plague, and they give you a card for Plague and a card for Iron Helm, but I gave that to my buddy Adam because Iron Helm's fantastic, and it's one of the best solo games of all time, and he plays it more than I do, so I gave it to him. So, player reference cards. Let's get back to it a little bit, and we'll talk about these last components right here. So, search in lieu of hunting. So, once again, if you cannot get one of the big things right here, you can just search. You can draw an egg card, which, let's talk about the egg cards. They come in a couple different varieties. First and foremost, the 2 that are very easy to use. This one right here, this is worth 3 victory points. Easy. You're not going to get rid of this, period. These are the golden eggs. Next, you have the 0 victory point rotten eggs, and these ones, I actually like the inclusion of them in the game. Spoiler, this is more like a review-y sort of aspect, because this encourages you to use your special abilities down here, because otherwise you're giving away victory points. So you get one of these, it just makes sense. Oh yeah, now I can use one of my special abilities. And then you have a set collection aspect here, where there'll be blue, green, not so green, and red eggs, and they're each worth 1 victory point, but you can get a 3 victory point bonus if you can get a set of all 4. So there is a tad bit of set collection there, but really it's all kind of just random because you're just drawing from the top of the deck. So, we did the search, we did the village. If you hunted this turn, you may add 1 card to your village. So that's the skip bow style thing, where you're going to put cards from your hand down here and use them later. If you searched instead of hunting, you get to put 2 down here and hopefully get a bigger dinosaur later. Then you draw up to your hand size of 5, and you add a new card to the wilderness, which once again, those are going to be dinosaurs. But the last thing we have talked about are these location cards right here. And each one of them is going to have their own unique quirk. So on the right side, it'll say the shore, and you're going to add 1 card from the wilderness deck and add 1 range token. But then it also will give you a persistent special ability if you're able to clear out all the dinosaurs at this location. So getting that special ability can be pretty powerful. Plus 1 of the sum of future attacks when a companion is in your hunting party, which you're going to have a companion pretty often because there's a lot of brown cards in the game. But there's quite a good deal going on here. But those are the components in StoneFire. This looks like it might be your cup of tea. Be sure to check out that Game Crafter link down below. Tell them Bowers Game Corner sent you. I don't think that's how it works. You can't just like scream it as you order. But whatever. And if you've ever dreamed of making your own Game Crafter game, then please click on that link down below. They sponsor this segment, but I'll be honest with you. I used their services long before this, and they're fantastic. If you are trying to prototype or create a game, they are undoubtedly the people to go talk to, and go check out their website. You don't actually have to talk to them at all, because that'd just be weird. You don't want to talk to people. That's odd. But there's StoneFire. Let's get out of here. As always, thanks for your time, YouTube. Bye-bye.